Yesterday afternoon, I sat across my desk from a gentleman named Robert. Robert is 62 years old. He works in a highly flexible consulting industry where he can easily set his own hours, and he generates a very comfortable multi-six-figure income. He has built a beautiful, secure retirement portfolio on the sidelines. His home is fully paid off and his children are independent. By every logical financial standard, Robert has crossed the finish line. He won the game. But as we looked over his numbers, Robert leaned back, sighed, and said the exact four words that have quietly robbed thousands of disciplined, hard-working Americans of their best years. Just one more year. He told me he just wanted to pad his cash reserves a little bit more. He wanted to wait for the next market cycle to stabilize. He wanted to finish one last corporate project. And as a financial professional who has spent nearly 3 decades helping families navigate the high-stakes transition into retirement, I looked him in the eye and gave him the cold, hard truth. You're falling into the mirage of the infinite runway. I told him to talk to seniors who work deep into their 70s or even their 80s and ask them a simple, honest question. Are you glad you traded those years for a slightly larger number on a digital spreadsheet, or do you wish you had stepped away earlier? My friends, 99% of the time, the answer is the exact same. They say, I wish I had retired earlier. When you are caught in the daily grind of active income generation, it is incredibly difficult to separate your self-worth from your net worth. But every single year you spend chasing one more year is a prime active year of your retirement that you can never ever buy back. We call this the opportunity cost of lost time, and no amount of incremental net savings can compensate for the loss of a single active healthy year of freedom. Today we are pulling back the curtain on the 8 silent psychological and financial traps that will absolutely ruin your retirement if you do not see them coming. We are going to look at the real math behind your spending years, the silent decay of physical capital, and the exact steps to build a blueprint that lets you transition with total confidence. Before we dive in, if you believe that a lifetime of honest labour deserves to be fiercely guarded, not quietly wasted in a cubicle chasing numbers you do not even need, do me a fast favour. Hit that subscribe button right now. Let us build your blueprint together and keep your hard-earned freedom exactly where it belongs, in your hands. This brings us directly to the second massive trap, and it is a pure psychological battle, holding your money too close to your chest. For 40 years of your working life, your brain has been wired to do one thing: save, save, save. You felt a surge of pride every time you watched your investment balances climb. You celebrated when your portfolio hit major milestones. But when you cross the threshold into retirement, you are forced to make a violent, overnight psychological pivot from accumulation to decumulation. Suddenly, the paycheck stops. The comfortable incoming cash flow vanishes, and for the first time in your adult life, you have to watch your investment accounts decrease in value as you draw down your living expenses. Unless you have tens of millions of dollars sitting on the sidelines, your portfolio is going to decline in value. That is not a failure of your plan. That is exactly what the money was built to do. But because this decumulation shock is so intense, we find that in the first 1 to 3 years of retirement, the vast majority of disciplined seniors do not spend nearly enough money. They hold their breath, they skip the vacations, they drive the older car, they delay their dreams because they are terrified that if they spend today, they will run out of cash tomorrow. But look at the reality of human timeline physics. For most of us, we only have 10, perhaps 15 high-energy go-go years in retirement. These are the precious, irreplaceable years when your joints do not ache, your energy is high, you can travel the world, hike with your grandkids, and check off every single item on your bucket list. If you burn 3, 4 or 5 of those irreplaceable years sitting on your couch, holding your breath because you are terrified to spend your own money, you have made an incredibly costly, irreversible mistake. You have traded your health and your memories for a digital buffer on a screen. The third trap that will quietly destroy your retirement is retiring from something rather than retiring to something. So many people are so exhausted by their corporate careers, their toxic work environments, or the daily commute that their entire retirement plan is simply, I want to stop. They want to run away from the stress. But running away from a negative is not the same as building a positive. If your identity has been wrapped up in being a manager, an engineer, a teacher, or a business owner for 40 years, and you suddenly wake up on a Monday morning with absolutely nowhere to go and no one calling your name, you enter a psychological vacuum. I have watched this play out firsthand with two very similar clients. The first gentleman retired to nothing but a television remote and a comfortable couch. Within 6 months, his physical posture had slumped, his vocabulary had shrunk, and he spent his afternoons watching cable news channels, growing increasingly anxious about a world he was no longer participating in. The second gentleman retired to a small active hobby farm, joined a local woodworking club, and started walking 3 miles every single morning with a group of other retirees. Their physical health, mental clarity, and overall life expectancy diverged rapidly. If you are approaching your retirement date, you need to have a serious, honest conversation in your household. What are you actually retiring to? It does not have to be a grand, expensive adventure. It can be a bridge club, a tennis league, a gardening project, or volunteering at a local charity. But you must build the foundation of those active habits years before you actually hand in your keys. This ties directly into our fourth trap, treating your health like an afterthought. When you are in your 20s, your 30s, or even your 40s, you can eat terribly, skip the gym, sleep 4 hours a night, and your body will quietly absorb the damage and keep moving. But when you cross 55 or 60, your physical capital enters an accelerated state of depreciation. Your overall health capital becomes a direct reflection of your baseline genetics minus your cumulative lifestyle friction. If you do not actively reinvest in your physical health, your retirement dreams will be cut short before they even begin. I am in my late 40s right now, and I am feeling the friction of the years. I have to put in a deliberate, disciplined effort every single day just to keep up my stamina, manage my nutrition, and stay active. I do it because I have young children and I want to be running around with my future grandchildren, not watching them from a wheelchair. You can have all the money in the world. Your traditional retirement accounts can be overflowing and your living trust can be perfectly funded. But if your physical body is broken, those assets are completely worthless. I had a heartbreaking conversation with a family member recently about a friend of theirs who is a brilliant executive. He retired with millions of dollars in liquidity. But he retired to absolutely nothing. He sat on his couch, stopped activating his brain, stopped moving his limbs, and within 3 years, his cognitive decline had accelerated into severe, irreversible dementia. Keep your brain moving, keep your limbs moving, see your fiduciary doctors, do the hard work of physical preservation, because your health is the absolute primary asset that determines the return on your financial capital. The fifth trap that quietly drains the life out of senior portfolios is the silent threat of social isolation. For many high-performing professionals, your workplace has been a source of intense, daily overstimulation. You spent 40 years dealing with corporate politics, constant phone calls, and noisy meetings. So when you look at retirement, you think, I just want absolute peace and quiet. I do not want to hear another human voice for 6 months. And while a short period of decompression is completely natural, you cannot go become a hermit in retirement. Human beings are wired for connection. Active dialogue, healthy debate, and simple social laughter are the literal cognitive nutrients that keep your brain healthy. For the vast majority of working Americans, their job is their primary social network. It is where they get their daily updates, their intellectual stimulation, and their sense of community. When that career goes away, you must be incredibly proactive in replacing that social grid. Do not wait for the isolation to set in. Join the community garden, sign up for the local historical society, or get involved in your neighborhood civic association. Keep your mind engaged because a lonely mind is a mind that decays. The sixth trap is making high-stakes, emotional decisions with your life savings in retirement. During your accumulation years, if you made a bad investment decision or if you panicked and sold at the bottom of a market correction, you had active income from your job to cushion the blow. You could wait out the cycle, but in retirement, emotional decisions carry a devastating compounding interest rate. I had a lady walk into my office recently who was a self-directed, do-it-yourself investor. She proudly told me that she had timed the last market correction perfectly. She said she got out of the market right before a major drop and then bought back in at the bottom. I looked at her and asked, how much extra money did you actually net after factoring in the transaction fees and the short-term capital gains tax? She hesitated and said, well, maybe a couple $1,000s. Then I asked her the real question, and how much sleep did you lose while you were staring at those charts at 2 o'clock in the morning? How much stress did you bring to your family? How many years did that anxiety take off your life? She looked down and said, "It nearly drove me crazy. It was not worth it." My friends, if you are constantly worrying about market volatility, or if you are making emotional impulse purchases like pulling a massive lump sum out of your traditional retirement accounts to buy a luxury vehicle you do not need, you are letting emotion dictate your financial security. You must separate your feelings from the math. This brings us to the seventh trap, failing to pursue real passion in retirement. Many people spend their entire lives working jobs solely to pay the bills, raise their kids, and cover the mortgage. They check the box from 9 to 5. But when you walk away from the structured routine of a career, you leave an empty bucket in your schedule. If you do not fill that bucket with a true, meaningful passion, you will drift into a state of aimless boredom. I have a client who was an accountant for 40 years. He loved numbers, he loved structure, and he loved solving complex financial puzzles. When he retired, his friends told him he should just relax and play golf. He hated golf. It did not stimulate his mind. So we looked at his passion and we coordinated a plan where he started volunteering his accounting skills for local non-profit groups and low-income seniors who could not afford professional help. He was still utilizing his talent, still engaging his mind, and still fulfilling his passion, but he was doing it on his own terms with zero corporate stress. But as you pursue your passions and begin to draw down your savings, you must understand how the Internal Revenue Service coordinates with your income. Many seniors have absolutely no idea that if their taxable income spikes because they pulled a large lump sum out of their traditional retirement accounts to fund a passion project, they can quietly cross a critical government threshold, and in retirement, a single dollar over that threshold can trigger a devastating chain reaction. It can make more of your Social Security benefits fully taxable, and worse, it can trigger the income-related monthly adjustment amount surcharges, which we call Medicare IRMAA, quietly doubling or tripling your Medicare Part B and Part 500 premiums 2 years down the road. Trying to calculate these premium spikes on the official government website is an absolute nightmare. Their tables are confusing, the rules are buried in legal jargon, and by the time you realize you made a mistake, the bill is already due. I got so tired of watching honest, hard-working seniors get blindsided by these silent government premium hikes that I finally decided to do something about it. I hired developers out of my own pocket, and we built an independent tool called the Medicare Premium Shield. This tool is a completely secure, ad-free and private utility designed to help you run your precise bracket diagnostics in under 2 minutes. You can check your thresholds, model your distributions, and protect your cash flow from these hidden government spikes. We do not have corporate sponsors, and we do not sell your private data to insurance companies. To keep this tool completely independent, we run it as a community-supported utility. You can access the tool directly by opening your browser and heading to the web address medicarepremiumshieldforseniors.net lifi.app. Again, that address is medicarepremiumshieldforseniors.net lifi.app, or you can simply click the very first link down in the description below. By making a one-time pay-what-you-can contribution of at least $15 to support this channel on our secure page, you will instantly unlock lifetime access to the live calculator. Go click that link right now, protect your retirement brackets, and then let us get straight to the final, most critical trap of all. This brings us to the 8th and final trap, and it is the master key that connects the other 7, walking into retirement without an integrated, comprehensive financial blueprint. Walking into retirement without a plan is like showing up at the airport, buying a ticket to an unknown destination, and hoping the weather is nice when you land. Most seniors I talk to have never retired before. This is a completely brand new chapter of life. If you do not have a written plan that shows you exactly how much money you can safely draw, exactly which accounts that money should come from to minimize your tax bill, when to claim your Social Security to maximize your lifetime benefit, and how to protect your estate from probate, you are operating entirely on sand. When you have a solid mathematical foundation, the psychological fear of running out of money vanishes. You are freed up to spend your go-go years enjoying your life rather than holding your money close to your chest in terror. Retirement is 90% psychological, but that other 10%, the financial foundation, is what supports the entire structure. If the foundation is weak, the house will crumble. If you need professional help mapping out your tax brackets, protecting your portfolio from sequence of returns risk, and coordinating your estate, You can schedule a completely free strategy session with one of our independent registered professionals using the calendar link on our secure page. We do not deal in speculation. We deal in cold, hard math to help you retire with absolute dignity. Before you go, drop a comment below. Have you ever fallen into the one more year trap, or have you watched someone struggle to spend their savings in retirement? Let us talk below. I am Warren Greystone. This is the Retirement Blueprint. Click the first link in the description, protect your brackets, and I will see you in the next breakdown.